Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
What happens when you have no topic, no script, and two professional broadcasters who are used to hosting thousands of shows? We're going to find out today on Dr. Jacalyn Unscripted with my co-host and dear friend, Mr. Roland Friedl. Let's bring him on. Hi, Roland. How are you today?
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to see you. I'm fine. Hello to our audience. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. And happy Father's Day to anybody out there who is celebrating. I found out from you that you actually had Father's Day last week.
Yes, I found out that every country is different because when I had my Father's Day last Sunday, I was in Germany. And they told me that the Germans have done on Thursday, so everyone is there. But anyway, Father's Day is every day because my kids are there every day, so I'm fine.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So, Roland, a question that I have before we get into who knows what, because we have no script, is when I talked to you about doing this show with me, Unscripted, what were some things that came to mind? Were you thinking, wow, this is pretty cool, or this could be nerve-wracking? What did you think?
When you came over with this idea, I was really excited because, first of all, I love to do shows together with you. It's always fun. It's always, I always can learn from something. But when you came over with the title, Unscripted, so meaning there is no script, there's no preparation, because we are both very structured people, you know. I said, this is going to be fun. And, you know, I love to be structured, but I also love flexibilities. I love surprises. I love to to enter new fields, going into rooms I've never been before, and try to feel comfortable there. So I feel challenged and I love it.
Well, it's always fun. As you mentioned, we have done so many shows together over the years, and you've done hundreds and hundreds of episodes here yourself. So thank you for taking the time, because it is a Sunday. You could be doing something else, and I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, actually, yes, it's a Sunday. It's very warm. We had a storm here before, a lot of rain, so humidity is very, very high. But all good, and it's an honor, pleasure to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. And I love to do a show together with you. And actually, I have my first question. I was thinking about what could be a question today, and I thought, we've been working together for about 5 years, doing hundreds and thousands of shows, and you do a tremendous job, by the way. And I know that, as a woman, it's not always easy in a business field. We all know that. I don't know if I can say so, but entertainment industry and broadcasting is part of entertainment industry. Is sometimes really what we call a shark tank. So as a woman in this business, how do you stand your ground? And what was beginning? Did you have some people who said, "Hey, no, don't step in," or leave away, or how was this started? How was in your mind?
Well, thanks for the question. And I also want to share that last year, you and I got to meet in person in Vienna, which was fantastic. There's nothing like meeting someone that you've been working with. And of course, we are friends and you're a mentor. So again, thanks for taking this journey. I feel like, Roland, when I was in corporate up until 2020, I know I was very insecure. And I never felt like I was really adding any value, especially in team functions, because it was always the men who were speaking and commanding the room and the floor. And many times I had ideas And it's not anyone else's fault. It's really mine. I wasn't really expressing what my ideas were. And then when I retired, because I was going to be doing life coaching and simultaneously my mother got dementia, I went in a completely different direction. And through a radio show and then through a TV show in person, and my journey brought me to where I am today. And I'm very different than I used to be. And when I first started this journey 5 years ago, there were plenty of people who did not believe in me, who actually thought I had some kind of mental problem. I was going through a midlife crisis. It was menopause. It was any number of these things. And I really believed, because of the fact that I've done so much work with the Crohn's Colitis Foundation and I have ulcerative colitis, I feel like no one was really listening to me. And I know that there are other people out there who have incurable diseases and they feel the same way. People are always trying to fix them and problem solve them and try this and do that, that other people must have this desire to speak without being judged. So as the years have gone by, people like you have stood by me and said, you know what, I believe in this. And I see the evolution and refer people to it. And I think that we have at the core, we have people who have been here since the beginning. And then we've had people come and go, which is how life is. But I feel like because of people like you who believed in me and did many shows, sometimes you were doing 4 or 5 shows in a row. I mean, now you still have on a Tuesday, you're doing It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. You're doing the other 2 German shows that you have, and you're a producer here. So you're producing someone else's show. That's a lot. That's a lot of time to give. So yes, absolutely. There were people who did not believe in me. There were people who literally stole from me. I signed contracts with and they didn't deliver. And then I choose to focus on people like you who do believe in me.
Thank you. First of all, thank you that you really stood your ground all the time. And because we strongly believe that we really bring value to our audience with these different topics, with different shows, with different hosts. And it's also an amazing opportunity, not only for our guests who can present themselves, being interviewed, but I think it's also an amazing, I would call it a learning platform for all the hosts and co-hosts here on the show, and who really grow like myself. When I look back 5 years ago, my first show, and now hopefully there's a difference. Anyway, I have a question to you, Dr. Jacalyn. As I said, business is mainly very man-driven. It's a masculine energy. I also know that it's also good to have some female energy, like being creative, being communicative. And I also know that you're not only a role model for myself and my colleagues, but also for our audience, especially for female ladies, to say, "Hey, this is really cool what Dr. Jacalyn is doing. I want to start also my business. She's an inspiration for me." So for our female audience, especially, what do you think are the main female qualities that help you in the business, and what kind of masculine qualities did you try to adapt to stand the ground in the business?
I love this question because over time, I've had various people reach out to me and say, you're always in your masculine energy. And I do have many times, more times than not, I would say, where I am in my masculine energy, because it's a masculine world. And the business world is still dominated by men, and you can easily get walked all over. But what I really believe is, in order to get your business off the ground and keep it growing, it is a significant amount of time, money, investment that you have to make. And there are many roles that women play, and sometimes those roles are taking an extensive amount of time as well. For me, I don't have a partner. I don't have any children. So I'm able to dedicate my time as I like. And I choose to put it into this platform and my Dr. Jacalyn LLC business. So what I would say is, how passionate are you about what you want to do? Are you willing to put in the time? Are you willing to say, you know what, I can't go on vacation. You know what, I can't do XYZ on the holiday, because that's what it takes, at least in the media industry, because we deal with time zones all over the world. And if you want to do a show and I say, well, not on Saturday, not on Sunday, not on these American holidays, not when I'm on vacation, it's kind of like, well, so we're at the point now, as you know, because you are a producer here, that we have other people who are running the platform as well, which is something else where you have to feel confident and comfortable to train people and then trust them to do what you would do. And I want to just end on this question with one other thing, which is we have a global broadcaster training here for us all to take our game up to the next level. And quite frankly, Roland, not everybody's on board. Not everyone's in agreement. Not everyone wants to do it. And so as a business owner, that's a tough place to be because you want everyone to want what you want. And at the same time, you realize some people are doing TV shows because it's a hobby. And they're all different reasons. But for us, I know you feel this way too. We're doing it to create a legacy and we're providing world-class education. So you have to be prepared for people not to be in alignment with you. And then you have to figure out, well, how will you deal with it?
100%, Dr. Jacalyn. So for our audience, maybe someone said, hey, that's really cool. I'm thinking about being not only maybe a guest, but hosting a show or interviewing people would be fun. And what is, in your opinion, from your experience, what kind of mindset does somebody need to become a good TV host and listener and interviewer and broadcaster?
Thank you, Roland. It's funny, on Friday, I think Thursday and Friday, I started training and onboarding 4 new TV show hosts who will be soon joining us. And they all have one thing in common, which is they're coachable. And I personally, through my experience, when I am producing a show, I know if somebody's going to be a good TV show host. I can just tell that there's something there that is workable, that they, if they're interested, could be an excellent TV show host, potential global broadcaster. And what I ask is for someone to be coachable, for them to accept feedback. And of course, I give feedback in a positive manner, constructive manner. And if they don't have that, that's a definite no. Then the second thing is, if they are interested in getting rich, probably not going to be a good place to come, because I don't think any of us are getting rich by doing this. And it's sort of looking at how important is visibility to you, how important is credibility, how important is collaboration versus I want to get rich. So when I'm interviewing someone and they're like, oh yeah, I want to get rich, I'm sorry, but this is not going to be a good place for you, because it doesn't work out that way. And maybe they can get a sponsor, or maybe they'll have an episode that goes viral. But what I've also found, Roland, is that on Instagram, TikTok, those things, the number of people who actually get rich and continue, if you're not Mr. Beast or Joe Rogan or Mel Robbins, it's probably not going to happen. So you have to have a more passionate desire to give back to the world. So I would stop there and then see what questions you might have.
Okay. So when I summarize it, first of all, in mindset, you mean somebody has to be teachable, willing to learn, willing to improve, and also to listen to feedback. I think it's very, very important. And then the second one is it's more about having a passion to do shows, to interview people, and for ourselves, for our business to gain credibility, and of course improve or increase our visibility. So from the mindset, what kind of skills does somebody has to bring on board in the beginning, or can it be trained from zero? Or what was your experience?
I think people can be trained. The one thing that I'll notice, especially if they're coming on as a guest, do they follow the instructions? So when we share with them, for example, I'll just do this now. When you're on Spotlight, you have 2 minutes to say whatever it is you have to say. And then if you see the host pop back up, then let that person get a question or comment. And because we're continuously looking to drive engagement with our audiences. And if someone's talking like a monologue for 6 minutes, people can get bored, especially if it's a topic they're not interested in. So if they follow the instructions, then I think, okay, they're on the right path. But many times people don't. We will have people go on, and you see this yourself. It could be 6, 7, 8 minutes. And because we practice elevated listening, we can't interrupt them. But there was a show recently when the person kept talking and I was doing this as the producer. I kept doing this and this, hoping that they would, and they still didn't get it. So they would require a lot of training, which is fine, but they have to be open to seeing it. And some people are not. Some people will say, well, this is just the way that I do it. I've always done it this way. And if I can't do it, so that's not going to be a good fit. You have to be interested in helping to promote the other person's story. So if you have a guest on and you continuously are making it about yourself, if I say something and then you take over the stage and you start talking for 5 minutes about yourself and I'm the guest, I'm like, oh, okay, why am I even here today? So there's certain clues that are subtle and not so subtle. But I think if a person is passionate enough and it's really important to them, then I think that it could apply to a subset of people. And the last thing I'll say is, and I've said this over and over, I just said this to the people I onboarded, if this is not something that you are excited about, if you are waking up and going, I am dreading doing this TV show today, it's not the right place for you. You and I have been doing this for years. It's exciting. You say to yourself, I can't wait to do this show. Maybe sometimes all the elements, especially with you traveling, you never know if you're going to have Wi-Fi or what the case is. You do your best to get to an area. But for people in a stable environment, if you don't have to worry about those types of things and you're still dreading it, probably not the right place for you.
100%. 100%. Some of our audience know that I'm living in a motorhome full time. So I started it a little bit more than 4 years ago, and actually I'm taking care of my old auntie since my dad passed away, and I'm standing with my motorhome. So I'm broadcasting from my motorhome. I'm standing outside our house, and I'm taking care of her because last week when I was abroad, she fell out of the bed. So I went back to take care of her. But I wanted to tell her, and normally, she has dinner at 4:30, between 4:30 and 5 sharp. What is the time right now here? Where I'm here in Europe. And I'm putting on my shirt, and she said, where are you going? I said, go to the motorhome. And he said, you have to work? I said, no. But why do you put on the shirt? I said, well, you call it a work. I'm doing a show together with Jacalyn Kerbeck. She said, yeah, you mean work? No, for me, it's not work. I love what I'm doing. I'm excited. I can't wait to start, to get the studio, the setup, and go live. So broadcasting. So for me, it's not work. I love what I'm doing. And as you said, I'm just excited when it's time to go live. 100%.
It's so true. And I really appreciate that you shared that, because people will say to me, for example, I work out every day and I'm taking 2 classes, or sometimes once a week, 3 classes. And on Thursday, I can only take 1 class because I'm producing a show and then leading a coaching session. And I've had people say to me, oh, it's so sad that you have to work after you're working. I'm like, no, I choose to. I picked the schedule. I'm on this show. I choose to do it. Yeah. But isn't that, no, it's not actually. So another thing is, I had people sharing with me about vacations and why don't you take vacations? And I really believe this when I say it, because every day I get to do this is a vacation. And some days are challenging, right? Because not everything goes well or people don't show up. And then you just have to jump into it and do the show yourself. But if you think about the lifestyles that some people have, some people might be taking a drive of an hour or more, public transportation, multiple switches to get to where they're going. They're sitting in an office, and some people are happy with it and some people are not. I am so grateful that I have this lifestyle that I could not imagine saying, oh, I don't want to do it today.
100%. I sent out a social media post today because in the morning I work, started early in the morning working. And a friend called me and said, I was texting me and I said, I called you back, I'm working. I said, hey, it's Sunday. I said, yeah, what do you want to tell me? Yeah, it's Sunday. And I said, yeah, I put this post on because I love to work, especially on Sundays and holidays, because I love to make a day off during the week. Because when I go to the beach, there are less people, or in winter when I go skiing, there are less people during the week because the weekends are always crowded. And on the other hand, on the weekends, I don't know what your experience is, but I have less distractions, less phone calls, or even no phone calls, just private phone calls, no emails popping in. So I love the weekends to work in the holidays, 100%. And I remember when I was young and I had no kids before a father, and I was always volunteering on the weekends because I know, there are family guys who have kids at home. They want to spend their, I don't know, Christmas or New Year's Eve or what with their beloved one. I was always willing to work on weekends and on holidays because I love it. I love it. 100%.
You too. And Roland, you shared something a few years ago, and it's still really pertinent. People will say, I've got to make it to the weekend. I can't wait to get to the weekend. Or I've got to go on vacation. And when you're living in that kind of mindset, under that kind of stress, when you get to the weekend, whatever you had during the week is coming with you. Hello. When you're going on vacation, you're taking it with you. And then people will say, I need a break from the vacation. And it sort of never ends. Can you just talk to us, as we're unscripted, about that mindset and how important it is to be able to be happy where you are at any given moment?
100%. You know what came to my mind is there was a song by the Boom Down Rats, I Don't Like Mondays. And I would say, if you don't like Mondays, maybe you're in the wrong job. For me, it's very, very important that what I'm doing, I have a passion for it. And of course, not everything, as you mentioned before, not everything is fun in our job, in our business. There are some challenges or some issues we have to deal with, and we have to sort out problems. Of course, it's not always fun, but I try to make it as fun as possible. And the other thing is, I only do things that fit into my lifestyle, not the other way around. I know most people do the other way around, career, money, and then try on the weekends or for vacation to have some kind of lifestyle. I try the other way around, which makes me much, much happier. I feel much better. But for me, the mindset, you're asking about the mindset, is, I think for me, what I always say is, when the why is strong enough, I always repeat this, because when the why is strong enough, when I have a purpose in life, when I have a purpose in what I'm doing, what really drives me, so I can't wait to get up in the morning and start whatever I have to start, I think then I'm in the wrong job or in the wrong business. And I see that so many people are doing things that just do it because maybe there have been some expectation from their parents to step into the same business or in the same job. I did it a few times, to be honest, that I started some businesses just because of the money, but I was not really convinced that it really fits to me, and it was always a failure. This was a learning for me. And my learning is, first of all, I have to be, it's my mindset. It's not my skills, it's my mindset. Meaning, does this fit into my belief system? Does this believe into my values that are important to me? Does this fit to my goals that brings me my life goal or my vision closer? Does this make me happy? Again, it doesn't mean that everything is fun in the business what we're doing. But as an overall, this is the most important thing. And I think most people don't know really what they want in life, because, we go to school, we go to university, and, especially in the US, it's a hell of money that you have to pay for the university. Or same here in Europe, you start a business, you go to the bank, you borrow money, you have to pay it back. And then, the rat race is starting. And then it happens very easily that you forget about your dreams. And this happens to many, many people, that they forget about the dreams, and then they're in the rat race, and no wonder that they break down one day and have a burnout or whatever. I never had a burnout in my life because I love what I'm doing.
Absolutely. I agree with you. One thing that comes to mind, did you see the movie with George Clooney, Up in the Air?
Yeah. When he was hired to fire people, yes.
To hire to fire people. And there's one scene with a famous actor, and I can't think of what his name is, but basically he fires this guy, and the guy gets really upset, and Clooney in his role says, when did you give up on your dream of being a chef? and he's looking at his resume, and the other guy starts talking about it. And that's what happens, I think. And that was a great depiction. Someone gave up a dream. They're working the restaurant business and then decided to go into this corporate role and just decided they needed the money. There were always bills. And instead of pursuing something, because we want everything right away, and it doesn't happen that way, especially when you have your own business. You are in that business day and night until a certain point. But people give up on their dreams because they made a promise or commitment to take care of their spouse, of their children, of whatever it is. And there's that feeling inside that I'm dead. I don't feel alive anymore. I'm just going through the motions. And I think that's when we get to the point and we say, I can't wait for the weekend, or I can't wait to go on vacation. And then you realize you're with the same person that you're with day and night. Now you're on vacation with them. It's like, oh my gosh, now I don't have my work. I've got to get back to my work so I can hide in that work instead of pursuing our dreams. And you and I feel very blessed, especially with you when you left Mallorca and you went out on your own. And obviously you have overhead and expenses, but you're making the shots, you're making the decisions, you're completely in control of where you're going and what you're doing. And I really admire that.
Yeah, to be honest, it's not. I don't always make the best decisions. But I learned it's better to make a bad decision and change it later instead of not coming to a decision. Because most people are really scared to make a decision, and they're hanging around, in the air. They not go no, left, right, up, down. They know where to go, and then they realize after a year or 10 years they're still on the same spot. They're not moving. But I love to make decisions. And to be honest, not all of them have been good ones. So there have been good ones that brought me a lot of joy and fun in life. And there have been the bad ones, and I wouldn't call it bad ones. There have been my learning ones that made me a better version of myself. Yeah, 100%.
Roland, one thing that I want to kind of segue into, because you and I do, it's your healthy lifestyle. And I think that this fits in with what we're talking about. There may be times in our life when we feel like we're going to live forever. Oh, I'll drive erratically, or I'll drink, or I'll shop, or whatever it is, thinking that it's never going to catch up to us. And you and I are similar in age, although I am a year older than you are. And then you get to the point you realize that the amount of time you have ahead of you is less than what you have behind you. And so you start thinking about your health, and you start making decisions, and you're very conscientious about it. And so my point, when you're thinking about dreams, for example, we can go all in. For example, anybody out there working in a corporate job or working in something that they're not enjoying, they could say, you know what, the heck with this. I am going to start my own business. I might not have any income coming in. I'm just going to go all in and I'll see what happens. And it might be the same thing with health. You might have been living a certain way, and now you're going to go the exact opposite way. So where is it that we go in the middle and we find peace, knowing that we have control, unless we have some kind of addiction, but we have control over the choices that we're making. We don't know where it's going to take us, but we're empowered to choose.
Oh, the good question. Oh my God. There comes some things into my mind. First of all, I think I'm never scared about the future, because I'm 100% of my future in control, because I'm in the driver's seat. I always try the driver's seat. As I said, not always the best decisions, but I'm making decisions, and if it's not working, okay, I correct my course or my direction where I want to go. So I'm not scared about this. Of course, I become 62 in less than 3 months. It's the 21st of June. In less than 3 months, I gave up. When I was young, I've always tried to put more time in my life. What changed the last, since beginning mid-40s, when I moved to Mallorca, I changed this totally. I started to give more life into my time. So with almost 62 right now, I enjoy life. I don't think about the end. I don't know when it's coming. It can come today, tomorrow, next week, in 10 years, in 20 years. I have no idea. I try my best to stay healthy and fit. We both notice that's why we're running It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, where we share our personal experiences, how we stay fit and healthy. But I don't worry about getting old. Of course, I realize, I did a heavy workout yesterday, a really heavy workout yesterday. And oh my gosh, in my 20s, the recovering was a little bit quicker and easier. And I also made a photograph yesterday. I made a break and I went for a swim, and I wanted to send a photograph. I was reading a book and I was sending a photo, or I wanted to send a photograph to my partner because she's working this week hard. And I tried to make a selfie from my behind, and I said, oh my gosh, my hair is a little bit thin. I was always so proud of my hair. Oh gosh, I'm getting older. I'm getting older. This was a little bit challenging for me mentally yesterday, but at the end, I try to give a lot of life to my life, a lot of life to my time. A lot of life to my time. So I give everything, no matter if I'm broadcasting, writing books, coaching people, or doing my workout, or spending time with my friends. I always try to be 100% present, 100% there, and that's my goal. Everything is a little bit slower, but the fun is still there. I'm still the crazy guy like I was in my 20s, but it's a little bit slower. And as I said, the recovering takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, excellent point. Excellent point. I'm glad you shared that. I found that I'm working out harder than I used to. I've always been working out since I was 14 years old, and I've never been kind of just cruising through it. I've always been pushing myself. But as we get older, it is more challenging because I'll have on my Apple Watch, and we're supposed to be running in zone 4, and it says zone 5, which I think is the highest. It's all the way at the end. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I guess I better calm down, like slow it down. But then the watch quickly comes back to zone 2 or 3. But you think about these things. You think about, oh my gosh, like what if I fall off the treadmill because I already fell off last year? What if your heart stopped? All these different things. But you keep pursuing because you've gotten yourself to a certain point where you know how to take care of yourself, and if there are warning signs, and it does take longer to recover. So today, for example, I am not working out. I want to work out, but I said to myself, if you did 2 classes every day except for Thursday, since Sunday, you need to take today off. But mentally, I want to go and work out, but I know it's for the best. So I want to share a little something about yesterday, since you shared your yesterday. I had a very productive day, and I also put on some headphones when I was working, and I was listening to some really cool music, and I kind of was bebopping around and having fun. Then I went and worked out. Then I got my hair colored. Then I went and did some errands, and I ended up back here at home around 3:45. And I said to myself, well, what are you going to do now? There's nobody here. It's Saturday night. And I was just highly aware of the fact that I gave up Chardonnay, I gave up sugar, because there's restaurants right across the street, excuse me, I could walk across. And I thought, I'd really like to go and listen to this little combo that they have and get the Parmesan crusted chicken with the macaroni and cheese and Chardonnay. I mean, it literally brought a smile to my face. And I got my hair done and I'm ready to go. And I thought, oh, I guess I'm not going to go. And I was kind of sad about it. And I thought to myself, there's no one here to tell you you can't do it. No one. You don't have to check in with anyone. No one's going to know where you're going. You can go and do it. But I didn't do it. And I don't know if that's the right answer or the wrong answer, but it's kind of like, and I'd love your feedback on it. We get so in doing a healthy lifestyle, you get so ingrained in what you're doing that I think to myself, okay, now it's day 153. I really don't want to count any days anymore. I mean, I just want to say, okay, I'm just going to live my life, but I'm so structured and disciplined. It's kind of like, is that failing by saying I will go over and have the macaroni and cheese and some Chardonnay? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, sometimes I have sometimes I have things in my mind like you, when I'm here alone in the motorhome, and I thought, oh, it would be nice to have chocolate or ice cream. Yeah, I have the same, and I think it's natural. But we are both strong person, we are both very structured, very disciplined. I think the real character, the real attitude shows when nobody is watching. When nobody is watching. And yesterday, I I try to do 15,000 steps a day, an average over the whole year. So sometimes more, sometimes less. Last year, 10,000 on average. So this year I said, okay, 15,000 was 50% more. And yesterday I didn't make it at all for different reasons. There was a lot of work to do. And I had a conversation late night with my partner. And I told her, oh, how are you? I said, well, I'm okay, but I didn't make it. And she said, who cares? You don't have to prove. I said, I care. I do it for myself. I don't put it on social media. I don't do it public, or nobody can follow me on this. It's for me. It's just for me. And it's the same when I said, okay, I want I don't know, macaroni or a pizza or an ice cream or whatever. Of course, I have the same craving sometimes, to be honest. I would say I'm not 100% disciplined, so sometimes I really go for it and sort of, what the heck. It was an amazing day. Okay, let's enjoy an ice cream without any regrets, just enjoying it, just don't feel guilty, just enjoying it. And next day it's done. But yeah, I love to be disciplined when nobody is watching, because I think this is really strengthens your character, and 100%. Yeah, it's good. I love it.
I agree with you. And thanks for sharing that, especially about the ice cream. I think, like, for me, I have no problem with the structure and discipline, because again, there is no one to check and see what I'm doing. And even if there was, I don't think I'd care anyway, because I'm very, very set in my ways. But I guess what I'm wondering is, do we continue going through life where we give up what we can find enjoyment for, even though it's temporary, just to stay on the structured and disciplined path? Because there is something to be said. Let's say that it wasn't just me. Maybe I was meeting a friend, and then you're having a conversation and it's over a meal, and then you have this great memory. Or maybe it is just me and they're playing this little combo music, and I end up talking to a couple people, and you never know. But you do know when you're sitting by yourself and you're not doing it, you know what comes out of that, which is basically, okay, I'm going to go back and maybe I'll start writing my next book, which is what I started doing. So my question for you, because you coach people all the time, is when do you say, okay, I will give myself permission to do this without checking with anyone, and it's okay?
Well, I don't have a general answer for that. And some people say, especially in the fitness industry, okay, once a while have a cheat day. I don't call it a cheat day, because it's not cheating when you say, okay, I do it and I enjoy it without without feeling guilty, as I mentioned before. Well, I don't know. I don't know if is there a rule once a week or once a month. I don't know. I think it's, for me, it becomes less and less important that I have an ice cream or whatever it is. And what helps me is, when I have some kind of craving, a sugar craving, chocolate or an ice cream or a pizza or a bus or whatever it is, what really helps me is that, for me, it's saying no is most of the time easy, because I say no to something that is not good for me. Because everybody knows that ice cream is a sugar bomb, or pasta is a sugar bomb at the end, in your stomach. I say no to something that is not good for me. I don't say no to meet friends and have fun. I don't say no to have a nice walk on the beach, a nice break. I don't say no to have a good time with my partner or whatever. I just say no to something that is not good for me. And when I started to understand this, that this is not really good for my body, maybe it's a short-term pleasure, but it's not good for me staying fit and healthy in my 60s. It's easier for me. And that's what I tell my clients. Because sometimes, I remember I was at a gas station 3 years ago. And it was a hot day, and I put them some ice cream, some manufactured ice cream, and I bite in. It was quite expensive, by the way. So I had a bite. I said, "What's this?" And I threw it away. And the guy at the gas station said, "Why are you throwing it away? It was expensive." I said, "Yes, but it's not good for my body. First of all, it doesn't taste well, but it's also not good for my body." So I have no problems to stay away from things that are not really 100% supporting my health and fitness. So that's easy for me.
Yeah. And I think that's basically what it comes to for me as well. And then the other thing, I don't know if you're like this or not, but I'm very much about do this, get that. So put in the work and get the reward. So to me, as I keep track of the days, even though I really don't want to, but I know the 18th of every month is another 30 days that I haven't had any alcohol or sugar. It's kind of like, well, if I do have it, then the clock stops and it's got to start all over again. It's exhausting with the counting. So it's kind of like it becomes a way of life. And yet at the same time, it's not about being rewarded. It's a lifestyle. So you move into just accepting, well, this is who I am and this is how I live now. And I think for some people that is an uncomfortable thing, because food, traditionally, if you think about various cultures, people celebrate things with food. It brings people together. And when you don't have that anymore, for me, I eat the same exact thing every single day. It's this same, it doesn't change. So I'm not going to be like, oh, would you like to come to my house for a dinner party? I'm serving a smoothie. Like that's it. Like that's all we're going to have is frozen blueberries and unsweetened almond. No, I don't think so. I'm not going to go out to dinner and say, do you have a blender? I brought my frozen berries with me. So it does change the way, it has changed the way that I live my life, because I used to go out to dinner quite frequently. So I guess it's just a matter of adopting new habits and adapting to the new lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, when you mentioned like Jacalyn rewarding, and I think years ago I was thinking, okay, I did this and this and this. I did my to-do list. I finished a project on deadline or even before. I reward myself with a, I don't know, glass of wine with a cocktail or ice cream or whatever. I had this before, and now I think, no, I'm rewarding my body not doing it. And the reward is not doing it, because I found out when I do it, as I said, it makes me 5-10 minutes happy, and then I feel really bad. And I can tell it's because I'm here at my auntie's house since when I come back on Tuesday morning. I came back here, so it's about 6 days now, and I cook for her. But of course, I cook what she loves to eat, so I share some the lunch with her, and I eat the same like she does. I can't stand it, so I can't stand it anymore, and she doesn't understand it. So now, but she said, yeah, but I'm 86. Yeah, I said, Auntie, yes, I love you, but maybe you have no idea how much energy you would have, or even more energy would you have when you would change your diet. Anyway, so she adjusted it. So what I wanted to tell is, sometimes it's really difficult to stay disciplined. It's not discipline, but it's not that I'm not disciplined, but it's sometimes really strange. You know, she's 86, and I said, no, I don't eat this because it's evil or whatever. It's not healthy. She would look at me like, what's going on with you? I'm 86. I'm still alive, and I always had this for years and decades. So sometimes I eat this stuff with her. Not every time, but sometimes I do it. But what I say with rewarding is, I learned to give different rewards to myself. And I said, okay, I reward myself to make a longer break and make a longer walk with my dog or stuff like that. That's what my rewards are. But I know, as you said, you know, food, or let's say eating has a total different meaning than he had thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, it was just surviving. You know? We've been starving, we've been hunting, and one day we've been lucky we had some food. Other days we hadn't luck, so we had to starve. So it was really from a survival mode to still keep going, our system, more and more in a social one. In a social aspect, when families come together, and I know that in the US you still have this on Thanksgiving or something like that. As a social gathering, I know this. We have it in Europe more in the southern countries like Italy, Spain, where I've been living. That families come together on the weekends or on special vacations, and they have dinner together, large dinners together. But it's more about communicating than on eating. Of course, they eat a lot, but it's more about communicating and sharing their stories or whatever. But more when you go more Middle Europe and North Europe, it's more about distracting yourself. So, and this I wanted to add on the question before, is when I talk to my clients, when they ask me, okay, how to be disciplined, and I said, you know, sometimes when I'm alone in my motorhome, funny, it's not when I'm together with my partner, but I'm alone in my motorhome, sometimes I have this craving, you know, an ice cream or chocolate or whatever it is. And my first thing is what I learned is that I said to myself, Roland, do you really want it? Or do you want to cover something that you don't want to look at? Maybe you feel bored, maybe you feel insecure, maybe you feel just not happy, maybe you're not really happy with the whole day, with your achievements or whatever. What is it why you have this craving? And most of the time when I have a craving, it's just because I want to distract myself from something I don't want to look at. So I learned this and I said, okay, sorry, I have a glass of water or I prepare myself a tea. Have this tea, the so-called hunger is gone, and then I take my time and it's okay, what is it that I want to cover?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I'm just looking at the clock. We're over time. But one comment that I want to make to what you just said, which I think is important, is that I think many times people are bored. Like last night, I was bored. I was thinking, okay. And then I start to look at, well, how much money is it going to cost? Do I really want to drop, X number of dollars to go sit over there by myself, listen to some music? I put some headphones on and have some water. You kind of just reconcile. But for some people, it is about that need to socialize or satisfy that immediate need. But there's something probably going on that's much deeper that maybe we don't want to look at. And that is one thing that I found. I did a show the other day about 150 days and my focus and my clarity. And some of the things that I wanted to accomplish by giving up wine and sugar, I haven't accomplished. Like I thought, okay, I'm going to be so thin. I'm going to be ripped. I'm going to be like, and that hasn't happened. But I do have this incredible clarity. And my emotions are very much like this. Instead of, sometimes on a Monday, I would be depressed, or it's the weekend. I'd be like, oh, but I don't feel that way anymore. Now I just feel grateful every day that I'm here. So there are a lot of positives that came from it, but it's not for everyone. Not everyone is going to live a disciplined and structured life. And so I don't think either one of us is here to say that's what people need to do, because you have to actually find that because it's you have to sustain it regardless of what your partner or anyone else might think. It's something that drives you.
100%. I always said it, because my partner, she also wants to change her lifestyle. I said, change if you want to change. Don't change because I live different than you. I eat differently than you. I work out more than you. It's because, I guess I mentioned many times in other shows, when it's coming from outside, and it's I have to, I must, I have to, it's coming from outside. And it's never working on the long term. It's never sustainable. It has to be inside of you. Say, okay, I want to stay healthy. I want to be fit, slimmer, whatever it is. Yeah, it's not working from outside, 100%.
No. And I want to sum it up with this. This just popped into my head. And it's almost the same type of analogy about a partner. You can say to someone, I need you. You can say to someone, I want you. But if you said this to someone, I think this is profound. I choose you. And it's the same with a lifestyle. Oh, I need to be eating like this, or I have chosen this way to live. And when you look at it that way, it's almost like, wow, this feels really good, instead of I have to do it, or I have something that's not being satisfied. I need to do it. I know I'm choosing to do this.
Yeah, 100%. I have a small story, but it happened yesterday, if you want. It was late night when my partner called me, and she has very busy days, driving these people around with the Porsches. And she said, she stopped smoking when we met, because I'm a non-smoker, and she stopped smoking. I said, Roland, I have to tell you, I had 3 cigarettes on 3 3 different days, and a glass of wine. And I didn't say anything. I just shut down my mouth. I didn't say anything, no reaction. And then she started just justifying herself for 2-3 minutes, and I didn't say nothing. And she felt insecure because I didn't say anything. And then I said, honey, what are you doing? Why are you justifying? You're a grown person. It's your decision. Stand with it. You're not doing it for me or against me. I'm not pissed off with you. It's your health. It's your stuff. Thanks for sharing it. But I don't say good or bad. It's up to you. But when she said, but you didn't say anything. Yeah, I just wanted to know if you're going to start to excuse and justify. What's going on in your mind? You're a grown-up person. Make decisions and stand with them and take responsibility. Bang, that's it. And I think that's the same for all our people outside. sometimes, we call it a cheat day. You cheat on whatever it is, on sugar or alcohol or cigarette. It is like it is. There, next day, sun is going up in the morning again. There's a new start. There's a new chance. Make it different.
I love the way you handle that also, because if we're looking for someone to validate and say, hey, why not? You've earned it. You deserve it. You're working hard. You're away. I'm not with you. Yeah, go ahead. That's one thing versus, well, when we get together, you better not be doing that anymore because I don't know, whatever it is. It's kind of like, yeah, you made the decision and do it. But many times people are giving unsolicited advice, or they are reprimanding someone, or they're judging someone. I think the way you handled it was outstanding.
That's me. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So, Roland, if you would tell people about your own TV shows as well as the work that you do off this network, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Well, Unscripted, of course, we do once in a while, and I really love the show. On Tuesdays, noon East Standard Time or 6 p.m. Central European Time, It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, where Dr. Jacalyn and myself, we share our own experiences as non-medical professionals, how we stay fit and healthy as we are, in fact, are. And then I do 2 German-speaking shows on the Tuesdays. One is the Macher Talk, in English, the Doer Talk. It's more a business-related talk show. And then an hour later, the so-called Mutmacher Talk, the Encourager Talk. Here it's more about inspiring people, encourage people to live their own truth, whatever it is, and find their purpose in life. That's what we do here. Yeah, and my own work is I support people, I mentor people, I inspire people who want to go their own way and find their own truth, whatever it is, business related or health related or personal related and personal growth. I have a large experience, and very good friends of mine who are in the same industry, they always say, Roland, you're not a coach, you're a successful businessman who share his experience, nothing that he heard or had read somewhere. You share your own experience in your life, how it works, and that's what I do with my clients on different levels. So yeah, just on my website, my new business is starting. I do AI coaching for small scale enterprises, help them to be more productive and more efficient with AI. I'm writing books and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of stuff, but most of it's here on my website, rolandfriedl.com. And if you want to contact me, you're more than welcome. Use my email. It's here on the banner. Or if you just don't see the screen, it's office@myname, rolandfriedl.com. You're more than welcome to contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday for It's Your Healthy Lifestyle.
Exactly. Thank you, and hello to our audience. And don't forget, if you haven't done, subscribe. Dr. Jacalyn will show you the channel so you don't miss the show, and you can always see the recordings if you miss something. Thanks you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching Dr. Jacalyn Unscripted. I truly appreciate it. We have over 60 different shows. Some are live, some are in the archives over on our YouTube channels. So take a look there. Also, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can look for Dr. Jacalyn and or USA Global TV and Radio. Are you thinking that you'd like to join our team as a TV show host? Do you think you have what it takes? Well, we'd love to hear from you. Take a look at this promotion, and please feel free to contact us via the email in the promo. Bye for now. People are searching for experts every day. Are they finding you? Or are they finding someone else? Every day, professionals are building authority through media. We've already built the platform. USA Global TV and Radio. Over 14,000 shows streamed to over 60 countries. This isn't about becoming famous. It's about leverage, visibility, credibility, opportunity. One interview, one conversation, one show, repurposed into content, connection, and business growth. Most people assume hosting a TV show requires a studio, a production team, and a massive budget. Our television packages begin at $1,500 US per month. Professional production, global distribution,
replay visibility, built for voices with something to say. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and if this resonates with you, we should talk. USA Global TV and Radio, all rights reserved. Contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com.
How much of your value have you been giving away? Saying yes when the answer should have been no? Lowering your price to secure the opportunity? Giving more while receiving less? Over time, it adds up. Until one moment brings clarity, you've been giving away your value. This is not about working harder. This is not about doing more. It's about boundaries. It's about pricing. It's about respect. From Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck comes a direct and necessary message. Stop over-delivering. Stop underpricing your expertise. Stop negotiating against yourself. Because when you recognize your value, everything changes. Stop giving away your value. Boundaries, pricing, and the business of respect. Available now wherever fine books are sold and on Amazon. A film by USA Global TV and Radio. Executive producer Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Videographer and cinematic production Paul Garcia. Voiceover by Ed Wargas. Stop giving it away. Start owning it.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.